Hello, everybody. Namaste. It's great to be here with you again. I hope you can see me okay. The sun is shining like directly on me, and it feels so fucking nice. We've been having the shortest days here in Montana, which I love. I love the darkness, going inwards, the cold. It's just like such a beautiful time of year for true self-discovery and for cultivating true depth. So I appreciate this time of year so much. But when the sun is out and it's feeling so warm and nourishing as it is today, I'm just like, I was gonna move and shoot somewhere else, but I'm just enjoying soaking it in so much. So yeah, I hope you can see me okay. Today, I just kind of wanted to share a little story about my last week and a half, and I feel like it might resonate with you guys and might be helpful. So about a week and a half ago, a little over a week ago, I was in this really high place. I was like sitting down and writing, and I had more clarity with a pen in my hand looking at a piece of paper than I had had, no exaggeration, like 6 to 8 months. And there was this part in me that said, and I was writing this blog post about the healing journey I had been through, a real dark night I had been through. And there was this little voice in me, this scared, egoic voice that said, don't write about this right now, because you might relive that period, and this high state you're in might leave, might go. And so this little voice was like, hang on, like, don't do anything to mess this up. Just enjoy this. Just savor this. Don't do anything to make this go away. And yes, that voice, I listened to it in that moment, and I said, oh yeah, you're right. Let's cling to this light, basically, and let's avoid any chance of anything darker coming up to take this from us, because it had been so long since I had experienced that type of clarity, that type of, that elevated state, you could say, energetically. And the funniest thing happened. 15 or 20 minutes later, I let go of trying to write the blog piece, even though I was really inspired to do it. That little bit of fear crept in, and I listened to it, and I decided to go do something else. And literally 15 minutes later, that lower, darker, gnarlier state of consciousness was triggered even more intensely than it ever would have been triggered with me writing the blog post. And it was just like, oh my gosh, life always it just was revealed to me more deeply, like how this is such a divine orchestration, how at first we're chasing the divine, we're seeking it, but then it really starts to hunt us. And it really starts to orchestrate life events in such a way that we can't avoid anything within us that we're afraid of facing. Even if we try our best to, even if we try to cling to the light, the divine is going to bring us everything within us that needs to be integrated, that needs to be felt through, that needs love, that needs to be shown to God so that God can love it for us. And so yeah, that very low, gnarly state that I was in for 4 months, it was real rough summer for me, as some of you might know. It got triggered up, and it had the same type of flavor and everything, and it was just like another layer of that darkness. But as it happened, in the moment, I had the awareness to recognize something beautiful happening within me, all on its own. Something beautiful was happening to where this darkness came up, and there was not even a millisecond, it seemed like. There was just this immediate opening to it, this immediate embrace, this immediate willingness to see, oh, what's here, what's come up to be seen. And it was really nice to have the awareness to recognize how that movement was so alive within me. To be able to just completely allow it to come up in its fullest intensity without any resistance. Even though I was in such a high state, of course the ego mind, our egoic aspects, my egoic aspects were kind of like, and as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that, wow, my egoic aspects actually weren't fighting it. Even the egoic aspects, even those aspects kind of have been reoriented to this process. And here's why. To this process of allowing darkness to come up. And I'm going to try to move, see if we can stay in the light here. That's a funny synchronicity. Oh my gosh, that's funny. And here's why even my egoic aspects were totally in alignment with allowing this darkness to come up, this really heavy, just gritty darkness to come up. Through all the darkness I've experienced, I've had the direct experience and evidence of how darkness is medicine, of how darkness is always coming into our life only to liberate us, only to deepen us into our true self. It's because when so much darkness comes into our life that it overwhelms us, that it takes us past our breaking point, that it takes us beyond what we thought we could tolerate as far as pain goes and suffering goes. It's that kind of darkness and pain that forces us into the deepest and most magical surrenders that we didn't even know possible. It's the darkness and the pain and those heavy, dense layers that come up that force us to surrender our lives to something greater in a deeper way than we could have ever imagined. We really, in those moments of darkness and pain, we have to just give our life away. We have to give our suffering and our pain to something greater. And for me, it's the Divine Mother. And every time more darkness than I've been able to handle has come into my life, I feel like the darkness has just broken me, has just shattered me. But every time I'm broken and shattered by darkness, I can also feel how the Divine Mother just starts putting me back together in her image. You know, the darkness comes in and just ravages us, trashes us. And then the Divine Mother comes in because we have to surrender deeper into divinity than ever. The Divine Mother just comes in and puts us back together with more love and more light and more compassion and more depth and more freedom than ever. And then as we're being put back together, we realize, oh, the Divine Mother is in the darkness too. She's in the darkness. She's in the very pain and suffering that forced us to surrender in the first place. And that's when this deep realization hits us that, oh, all of this is God. The darkness, the light, the clarity and joy, the fear, the density, the gnarly stuff that comes up. It's all here for our liberation. It's truly all God.